and welcome to my kitchen. I know it's been forever. Just keeping up with the homestead and this weather has kept me very busy, and so I haven't made a lot of videos or any videos in a while. We're finally seeing the end of the snow. It was about 50 degrees out today, so we're starting to get some melting going on, get rid of some of the snow and ice. But tonight, I am going to be making smothered pork chops and mashed potatoes. So let's get started. I've got my skillet heating up. Got my package of pork chops. Several weeks ago, we were blessed with able to receive a good amount of pork. So I froze down and canned a lot of pork down while we had all this snow and stuff going on. So I'm going to take and make smothered pork chops. So I've got my skillet heating up. I'm going to take a little bit of butter and put it in the pan to start to melt. Just get that in there. About 2 teaspoons worth. Get the butter out of the way here. Now for my pork chops, and you can season these up any way you want. Actually I forgot something. I'll be right back. I needed my flour and I forgot to get that out. Okay, so let me get some flour here. I'm going to put it on a plate. Just enough to coat these chops. So I've got flour, black pepper. You can use whatever seasonings you want in here. And salt. I'm just going to give this a quick little mix around. I want a little more salt. Now as this cooks, I am going to be adding crushed garlic and onion to it, and you can add red pepper flakes or whatever you want. Let me check my skillet. Get this butter nice. I want the butter melted. So I'm going to take my chops. I'm going to open them now. Here. I trimmed these up pretty good. My husband doesn't really like the fat on there, but I left a little bit, not a whole lot. And I've got these, and I washed them before I packed them down and froze them, so they're good to go. I'm just going to dip them in this flour, kind of coat them, because before I even make my roux, I want to get these browned, just kind of sear the outside of them a little bit. And the flour and the salt and pepper just give it a good flavor. See, I left some fat on a few pieces just because I like it, and it's really good when you cook it down. So I'll get this in here. Now I'm actually going to save a little bit of this flour to mix in with my roux when I'm doing it, when I make the roux. So I'm not going to get rid of this just yet. But I am going to put my pork chops. My skillet is hot. Get these pork chops in to start browning. And all this will be going into my roux. Now that I've got my hands washed, I am going to take my onion here. I actually got half of an onion that I used earlier. And I'm going to dice this up really thin. I've got a garlic. I'm going to use a few cloves of this, crush that up, and have that ready to put in my pan here in just a few minutes. Let me get my pork chops turned here. You want them just lightly browned on each side. There we go. Got my onions diced. I'm gonna get my garlic ready. I also have a jar of chicken broth here that I canned down. If you want to use vegetable stock or chicken broth or chicken stock or whatever you want to use, we just need a liquid in here. And then I'm going to use some cornstarch as well. But first, I've got to get my pork chops browned. So you just want to sear your pork chop so you get a nice little, just a slight crunch on them. pull those out of the pan. And then I'm going to take, oh, not the garlic yet. I was just trying to hold on to it so I didn't drop it. Put your diced onion in. You want to cook this down for just a few minutes. Maybe about a minute, just to start releasing the nice flavors, getting those slightly caramelized. Now take your garlic, and we're going to crush garlic in here. Press always makes a little bit of a mess. If you don't like this much garlic, don't use this much garlic. It's entirely up to you. Okay, that's got a nice aroma going on. Now I'm going to take that pepper, salt, and flour mix that I had, that I dipped my meat in. Don't worry, this is going to cook. The pork chops are not even cooked all the way through, so you're not going to contaminate anything. And brown that flour down, deglazing the pan as you go. You don't want it sticking to everything. Now I'm going to throw a tablespoon of cornstarch in. You can use potato starch, you can use whichever kind you want. I just had cornstarch on hand. Put that in there. And you just want to make sure this gets nice and slightly toasted. You don't want to burn it, you just want to toast it so it doesn't have that floury taste in there. I'm going to take my whisk and turn all that off. Now that everything's browning up nicely, I'm going to take my chicken stock and just pour this right in there with it. And then we just want to keep whisking because we want this to be smooth, not lumpy. We want that flour and cornstarch mixture to thin out, and that's what's going to make our roux. So just give this a minute here. Okay, we've got that all mixed together. I'm going to take my chops and just place them right down in. Try not to burn yourself. Now we are going to cover and let this cook for about a half hour. I'm going to let it cook on medium-low until I get my potatoes done. Lid on, and I'm just going to leave this while I work on the mashed potatoes. Now my son, he loves this Greek seasoning, so I'm going to mix that in and just let it season that roux up, or the gravy, if you want to call it gravy. Just going to put some in there. Now like I said, if you want to add hot red pepper flakes or anything like that, feel free. Make this as flavorful as you want it. Also, if I have mushrooms, I'll put mushrooms in it, but I don't have mushrooms. So, got the lid back on, and I'm just going to let it simmer on medium-low. Let me show you. Sorry, I seem to have a frog in my throat. I know this is a huge skillet for 4 little pork chops, but it's fine. These are absolutely delicious. They smell amazing. Let me grab my things here. Now these pork chops are nice and tender, almost falling apart. And this gravy, it's just the right thickness that it will just drown the mashed potatoes. I'll get this plated up and my family will be ready to eat. I made biscuits and corn to go with this. My husband and son are getting washed up and we are going to get ready to have a delicious supper. Thank you for joining me today and happy cooking!